This episode is brought to you by Dr. AC Lawrence, psychiatrist. Are you feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or just not quite yourself lately? You're not alone, and you don't have to go through it alone either. Whether you're struggling with stress, depression, anxiety, or just navigating a tough time in your life, Dr. Lawrence offers a calm, confidential space where healing begins. To book a consultation, call or message on WhatsApp 072 149 4655. 072 149 4655. Your mental wellness matters. It's Women's Month on the Endure Edge, and today I thought, who can we have as our first lady? She smashes podiums in the triathlon world. She's relentless, and she's Emma Pallant-Browne. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
And Emma is also pregnant currently.
Yeah.
Baby Brown, due in 1 month's time.
Yeah, due in a month, baby Brown. Not another female, but a little boy.
Awesome. How's Jared doing?
Yeah, he's preparing me for having a child. He's definitely, I enjoy looking after him. So hopefully we'll have a mini Jared and I'll have been well prepped.
And tell me, has there been a lot of kicking and movement? Is he getting ready for the running and the cycling?
Yeah, he is. He's gone through phases. He was like super active, and then he got a bit big and a bit squeezed for space. And then now he's just, the last week he's been wild. So yeah, he's definitely, hopefully going to be a little athlete.
That's awesome, man. I want to concentrate a little bit about your pregnancy a little bit and sport and how they gelled together. I feel pregnancy, and tell me if you think I'm wrong, is still a little bit taboo in some circles when it comes to the sporting world. Do you feel like you've gone, because I've seen you running on Instagram and everything while you're pregnant, do you feel like you've broken that mold a bit?
Yeah, I think it was definitely one of those things like I did so much research beforehand because I always knew that I wanted to do it not like at the end of my career. Like a lot of people will do what they want to do and then like, okay, then it's a new section of my life. And for me, it was always, I want to have a kid and I want to keep going. And I did a lot of research going in and I feel like I was quite well prepared. Like I got a really good gynae and have been totally led by kind of what she said is safe and isn't safe. And physically have been really lucky to kind of, be able to listen to my body and be able to, like I'm still doing, I'm on 8K every morning now this week. So it'll drop next week to 7K each morning as long as things are okay. So I've got a good plan and I've followed it. And first trimester was probably the hardest because I was quite sick. So I'd literally wake up and be like, if I was super sick in the morning, I'd run in the afternoon. If I was fine in the morning, I'd do my training then, and then often would be sick in the afternoon. So then you have to juggle and be flexible and things.
Did you find that training helped the morning sickness?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and I don't know if it is a thing, but like it was so obvious to me, like I really noticed it being here at altitude was when I was my sickest. And then I did a race in London. We went down to Durban. We went to Cape Town. All the times I dropped down from altitude, like my sickness disappeared. So I don't know if it was just that extra kind of stress on my body or I don't know if altitude does have a part to play or maybe because I didn't grow up in altitude. I don't know what it was. But
less or more air,
Yeah.
Oxygen
really
levels.
Yeah.
And when you found out, was it hard to transition the mind with the whole training, etc.?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's also funny how your body so I ended my season early. So I took that break and I think that break kind of reset my body and almost, my body was ready to have a child. And then I'd got into hard training and I started getting really fit again and found out I was pregnant. And I was like, it's that you're so happy. And at the same time, like you say, your goals change like within a click. Like I'm quite a planner. I love planning my season. So I'd already had things lined up and I was in good kind of shape. And then you got to take a breath and be like, okay, now the goalposts have totally changed. And it is that mind transition. And I think probably the hardest thing for me, I think physically I was prepared for my body to feel really different and to listen to it and not overdo it and things. And I think the thing for me that that's really surprised me and I was never prepared for was the responsibility of, like, I've never been someone to have panic attacks or over worry about things before, but now I've been growing this little human inside of me. Twice, like, I've been in the middle of nowhere where things have happened and I've just full on panicked because, you don't feel like it's your body anymore. You're like, oh, I'm here to protect and look after this little one.
Yeah, you actually have to surrender your body and all your stuff now.
Yeah, and
That's
I think
crazy.
that's been the total kind of mental shift that I'd never read about or kind of prepped going in.
Yeah, I don't even think you can prep it.
Yeah.
To be honest, I've got 3 kids. So yeah, I'm talking from a man's point of view.
Yeah.
I know you spoke about you've got a great gynae. What have you been relying on? Science or instinct, feeling, a bit of both?
Yeah, a combination of both. So kind of being honest and open, in contact with her, with if anything didn't feel right. I think as well as an athlete, like, you get to know your body quite well. And in the first trimester, it was really obvious because I'd get super lightheaded if I was overdoing it. So then I just back right off. Then, the second trimester, I had a great trimester. I was super lucky. And then the third trimester, we've been scanning really regularly. And there was a point 3 weeks ago, she was like, okay, now back off. Don't do any more kind of high heart rate sessions. And so on all my runs now, I'm keeping my heart rate under 110. So that's kind of, really, like, I kind of like having numbers as well. It's a black and white kind of, okay, if you go over here, you're overdoing it. So I think this last stage has very much been what the scans have told her and what she's fed back to me.
I know it means nothing, but I've got to ask, what is your pace with your heart rate under 110?
Oh, yeah. I've been probably 5:30.
Wow.
But it definitely feels, it doesn't feel like, I feel like I'm waddling. Like, I feel him really moving now.
I don't want to know how much I waddle running at 6:10. You said, you obviously plan your race calendars, etc. Mentally, not knowing when the next start line is going to be, how's that been an adjustment?
Yeah, I think, again, being such a planner and being so goal driven, like, I love having that focus. And I think that's something that helped me when I kind of found out I was pregnant and we kind of knew when he was going to be due. I was like, right, I'm going to set myself a goal and maybe it will happen, maybe it won't happen, but I wanted that goal. And so the first kind of big race that I'll target will be London Marathon. So I've got till April to, it's just a good time because nothing really, December kind of is very chilled. You can get in a good training block here. And then January, you get all those half marathon races that are local. So I just thought kind of April will be a good time to go abroad and test my legs again. So that's kept me driven and excited.
Have you felt like this might be, have you worried that you might lose your edge? Or do you think that you might come out stronger from all of this?
Yeah, I think I've seen so many super mums recently that I kind of, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it is. Like, everyone that I've talked to, like my friends that have had kids now, and they're like, you just race with a totally different motivation and passion. And I'm really excited to feel that. And I think, performance-wise, I think, just excited to see what the body can do. And I think the thing that I'm probably the most worried about is coming back too quickly, like overdoing, like that first month or 2 months where you've got to let your body heal. I think that will be the toughest bit. And then, excited to, I kind of really miss that push. Like I'm addicted to the, those sessions that burn, that like you're on your knees at the end of, like, I've really missed that.
The intensity.
Yeah.
Let's get on to motherhood. You're going to have this baby in a month's time. Baby Brown's coming. I'm sure there's a name. We're not going to spoil it. Okay, we're not allowed to know the name. I saw the spot. I won't put you on the spot. Okay, nice. Jared Jr.
Yeah, baby Jared.
Motherhood. You go through all these phases as an elite athlete. What legacy are you hoping to leave? Have you thought of it?
Yeah, I think for me being a mother, first of all, like I'd love other mothers to just, be able to see that you can do both. That's key for me to, show that you can juggle them, show that you can balance and be kind of inspirational to your children. And I also hope kind of with baby Brown growing up around active parents that doesn't necessarily have to be what we do, but that he'll find a joy in a sport, in a kind of, testing his body and moving his body. And it doesn't have to be amazing at it, but just he'll find that passion that we both have for a certain sport. And I just think sport teaches you so much in life, and it gives you so much health. And I really hope that we can kind of show him that, and that he'll find his own journey there.
I'm sure you've given this a lot of thought. What is your thinking on balancing motherhood, the training, the recovery, and everything that goes with it, and the races, etc.?
Yeah, I think to begin with, especially, like I had a very hands-on mum who she was a doctor, so she had quite a hectic career. And when she had me, she had 2 kids. And she managed to balance. She knocked back her working hours a bit so that she was really present in our life growing up. And that was meant a lot to me. And I think I benefited a lot from that. So I very much want to be that hands-on kind of mother. And for that reason, especially in the first year, coming back to sport, for me, triathlon is very it's a long hours. It's like I know what it takes to kind of be at that level. And also having been a runner, I know the difference in hours there. And I just think that first kind of year, especially, to be super present in his life. I'm just going to kind of not do the triathlon side of things as much and really just focus on my running and see what I can do there, which I'm excited about. And I think that will really help with the balance to begin with and take the pressure off that initial kind of stage, especially with things like sleeping and letting your body recover. And then, kind of take it from there, kind of learn in our first year what we need to learn and let the healthy balance lead the way of what kind of comes next.
Yeah, I also think maybe don't overthink it too much and let it just flow, like you say.
Yeah.
You and Jared will figure it out.
Which is hard to tell a planner. Just flow.
Is Jared also a planner?
No, not at all. He'll be happy.
I want to touch base a little bit on women's month, women's mental health, and especially on the elite side of things. How, as an elite athlete, do you have to adjust your mental health and think about it and work on it? And what do you do to work on your mental health as an elite athlete?
Yeah, I think especially on the circuit, doing things like T100, where you're spending a lot of time with the same group of people, and you and it's guys and girls. We're all doing the same races. We're on the same circuit, and I think that's been an eye opener of how women and men, like a lot of the females, are a lot more anxious and keep themselves to themselves before a race, and do get a lot more kind of highly stressed about racing and find it harder after a bad race. And I think being around kind of the guys who can take it, for me, like Jared's been amazing on that side of things. I think I could easily, before I met Jared, I didn't really want to let too many people into my career, because I felt like if it went wrong, at least I'm only letting myself down. If I have lots of people invested and kind of spending a lot of time on me, then I feel like I've let a big team down. So I feel like I used to do that a lot to take the pressure off. And then when I met Jared, and I'll never forget the first really bad race I had over here. It was quite early into our dating, and I did East London, and I had a shocking race, and I was like, oh, like, I'm so embarrassed in front of your family, in front of everyone. And he's like, it's a race. Like, you did your best. Like, you're super ill now. Like, it's your health is more important. Like, let's get you well, and then we just go back to training. We know training. And he was just so like level-headed, and I thought he'd be super like gutted about the race and down after. And he really, like, it didn't faze him at all. And I think that then really rubbed off on me. And I was just like, yeah, do you know what? There are a million more races. And sometimes it takes letting someone that close to you in to see like a really level-headed, because at the end of the day, if someone cares about you, then they just want you to be healthy and happy and have a good mental health. And I really do think a big part of having a healthy mental health is letting people in to kind of assist with that. And same thing, that you're supportive for your friends. And yeah, the amount of athletes that I coach that I've said had the same conversations with, and yeah, it then gets ingrained in your brain, and you can kind of talk to yourself. But it always helps having that person next to you to say it, so you don't double guess it.
Yeah, these things can't be done alone.
100%.
That's why it's important. And do you think for women to be taken seriously, they're expected to like just suppress their emotions and keep it all in, and not allow that vulnerability to be shown?
I think
to be taken seriously?
Yeah, I think we're warming to that human element a little bit more. Like, we watched the end of the Tour de Femmes last night, and to see Pauline just collapse at the end and just crying, like sobbing, and the commentators and everyone around just saying, this is what it means to have a French winner. I almost feel like we're coming to the thing of it. Actually, it's enduring to have role models that are touchable because they're human, because they have human emotions. And actually, yeah, maybe not to go to that kind of, yeah, not to be on that pedestal of I can deal with anything and I'll do it all behind closed doors, but actually to open up about struggles just as much about as successes. I think that is what builds the next generation, and that's what a young girl at home could see and think, like, this is a human being like me, and I cried after my last race, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, and yeah, I think I hope that this is like a new way of making the top level of sport more touchable to kind of the up and coming generation.
And I love that you say you cried at your last race and not kept it in, because depression and sadness is not always shown through sadness or crying. And I think sometimes women suffer in silently because they have to be the strong one. The same as men, but I think women go through the same things, especially on an elite level. What advice do you have for women that are suffering in silence?
Yeah, I think it's actually super strong to be vulnerable. I think it takes a lot of trust. It takes a lot of going out of the safety and the comfort zone to let other people into how you're feeling. And I think it's one of those things that until you do it, it's actually, to suffer in silence and to suffer alone and behind closed doors. I think, it will just eat away at you, and it gets bigger and bigger. And actually to break down that wall and to let people in, and to be vulnerable with the right people. It's that letting go of a bit of control of yourself and opening yourself up to other people, and to have that trust. I think so much of what we do in everyday life is like, it's what makes humans, the human contact with each other. And we all really need that. And I think, it's, and you don't have to do it in a big step. It can be little by little, like just opening up a little bit of a problem to someone, getting a bit of advice. And as you grow and trust more with them, then really kind of, letting in what you're dealing with. Because I think there's so much in that human compassion and that side that we actually all thrive from when we're building each other up and supporting each other.
And Emma, hormone cycles of a woman. How do you feel? And I know you've been dealing with them, especially on a heightened level.
Sure.
How do you think that affects a woman? Stress, emotion. I'm sure sometimes it feels like your brain is not even yours.
Yeah, I definitely think tracking it like helps me, because sometimes again you're like, oh my word, what is happening today? Like I've got this like for sometimes it will be this inner fire and rage or like just everything can be put you on the edge. And sometimes it's that, like especially with pregnancy, I've been just whacked, like never felt this tired before. And it's actually knowing, okay, there's like science behind this, understanding why it is. Tracking your menstrual cycle can also help, because then you pick up on patterns and you can be like, okay, on this day of my cycle, actually, I know I feel a little bit like this. And if I do this, it'll help. Like if I know, okay, I'm going to be really like irritable on one day of my cycle, like just to be honest with Jared and just be like, today is not the day to mess with me. And also be quick to apologize. Like, we all say things in the heat of the moment, and as long as you can laugh about it afterwards and be like, do you know what, that was the hormones talking, then just again, it can break those kind of things that can otherwise turn into, if you're holding it all in, just a big eruption.
And I actually want to touch base on the Jared part there, and the quick to apologize, because I've seen you and Jared together at the Peak Running Club, etc. Looks like you, on face value, it looks like you have an amazing relationship, and you're doing amazing things out there. It sounds like even behind closed doors. And yes, we all got our problems and we all got our fights, etc. Advice for women out there on dealing with men. If there was one thing that you could want all the women in the world to know about a man, what is it? From a woman.
From a woman. For me, like, I love that Jared makes me laugh. Like Jared can do the goofiest things, and he can irritate. He can do the most irritating thing, and I'll be halfway through like trying to talk it out with him, and I'll just do something totally goof, and I'll be really like not wanting to laugh. And just laughter is, I think, if you can connect on that, if you can make each other laugh, and I feel like guys are great at that. Guys are really good at, I don't know, sometimes I think maybe as a woman especially, I will hold on to things. And I think, Jared knows that if he wants like to make light of if he wants something to kind of dissolve pretty quickly, that we talk over the serious stuff, and then we have a laugh about it at the end. And just I think also just honesty, patience and honesty, because like I said, you can hold a lot in, and you can try and be the most perfect wife and say the right things, but actually if you're feeling something, just get it off, and you can always, there's always a nice way of putting something across, and just being totally honest and open with everything. I find men are actually really reasonable. Like they'll talk, you can get as long as the communication kind of is there, then they don't like trying to guess it out of you. If you say I'm fine, they'll be like, oh cool, she's fine. Like, whereas if you're not fine, you got to say it.
Did you hear that, ladies? Men are reasonable. No, thank you for that. That's awesome. It's nice to hear it from a lady's point of view. Because, we're not easy people as men on most of the times. And we do get that. So hearing it, it's nice. And like you say, honesty is important, and talking it out. Don't keep it in. I think, if you keep it in, it just builds and builds, and eventually it goes bang, and it makes it even worse.
Yeah.
You are an elite athlete. You spent a lot of time on the top before taking a break. Did it ever feel lonely on top there?
Yeah, definitely. I think especially when I wasn't in a relationship, and especially when I wasn't in a relationship with another athlete. I think often it was very lonely. I think probably the loneliest bit about it was when I was single and traveling. I used to race a lot. And yeah, I kind of had a base in London by Heathrow, and I'd literally fly to a training camp, fly to a race. Like I was never in one place. And it gets hard to, you find out your really true friends and your true relationships, because yeah, it's hard to still invest time in people, and yeah, it does. It does get lonely. And I think that's, yeah, I had to really make an effort to keep my good relationships, like setting aside time for them. And even though you couldn't always, like, yeah, the amount of weddings and parties and just general, like, important life things of my friends, I think it takes really good understanding friends to kind of stick by you.
Yeah, I don't think us outsiders see the sacrifices elite athletes have to make. And we think it's all, oh, she's winning this, winning that, got these sponsors and, you know, going to all these fancy shows and everything. But the sacrifices are huge.
Yeah. And yeah, sometimes, and I think I love the travel to begin, like it's exciting to begin with, and you're young and you see all these new places, and yeah, then it gets tiring. And yeah, I think you've also got to listen to your body, and you got to know when you're overdoing it. And actually, yeah, not overdoing 1 year can add 4 years to your career.
Sure. That's crazy. Yeah. Do you ever see a psychologist as an elite athlete?
Yeah, so when I was really fortunate enough to be on a mentoring, Kelly Holmes had like a mentoring scheme when I was young and growing up. And I was really lucky to be on her mentoring scheme. And part of that, yeah, she set me up with with a sports psychologist, because yeah, there was a couple of things, like I was a very on the go person, and I couldn't sit still, like even before a race, like everyone else
welcome, you can see me.
Yeah. Everyone else is resting and chilling and tapering in their room, and I'd be wanting to go out and do this and this and this. And so part of it was learning actually how to relax to get the most out of my races and training. And then the other part, not overthinking and not being hard on myself after a bad race. Like my way of dealing with a bad race would be the next morning to go and to pluck out the hardest session I could think of and go and just destroy. Like that was how I needed to like release it. And it was, yeah, being able to more cope with because if you've had a bad race, you need a recovery. You probably put your body through more than a good race. And yeah, I was learning to actually mentally deal with it, so I didn't have to push everything into a physical thing.
I want to talk a little bit about running. You're a coach. You coach athletes. Jared also coaches. In South Africa, running is huge. The running club scene is even exploding even more than what it was 2 years ago. Everyone wants to run. Everyone's running all of a sudden. They've even changed CrossFit into High Rocks, which has got running. And recovery is probably one of the hardest things I think a normal athlete that starts out running faces. What advice on that for someone starting out running and recovery, etc.?
Yeah, so I think first of all, it's being progressive. So don't go from nothing to running every day. Likewise, don't go from nothing to running a 20, 40K. And also, if you're starting out running, you're actually at a big advantage of you can ingrain good habits from the start. So getting yourself on a treadmill and either like YouTubing, like people like Gabrielle Celeste, and like there's so many now YouTube videos out there that break down a good, efficient kind of running style and how it should look. And then if you're unsure of how to ingrain that, like put that into your running style, then getting someone to video you and either like analyzing your own compared to that person, or seeking someone that can kind of a biomechanic or coach that can do it for you. And yeah, if you get a good, efficient running style from the start and you're doing short distances, then you can gradually build it kind of over time without getting injured. And strength programs help with that. And recovery days. So kind of periodizing your training of like after a hard session, if you're going to have an active recovery, or someone take like Alicia McColgan, for example, she does a lot of cross training. So her hard will be really hard key track sessions. She'll do her long run, and then she'll substitute a lot of her mileage with the spin bike or the elliptical. So getting still that weight bearing on the elliptical, but without the impact, or taking the weight off the legs, but still getting an active recovery spin out. So you can be really clever with kind of how you, especially something like you say, like a high impact sport like running, of how you can like load the body in a safe way to get the most out of your running and still have the longevity of being injury free.
I love the way you say technique is important. I think that's something that most beginner runners, and actually, people, amateur runners that have been running for a while, forget.
Yeah.
And I think technique can change. Like, what do you think? Like, can someone's technique change after 5 years?
Definitely. So, like you say, we all, if we were to start out swimming, we'd really look at our technique, and we all just assumed that we were born to run. But actually, we so much of what we do these days, kind of sitting down and things like switch off our main kind of glute muscle. And I had knee surgery when I was 18. I used to, the commentators always used to say, we can see Emma Pallant because she has that long loping stride, which I always thought was like a great thing. I'm like this loping runner. Obviously it was overloading my knees, my tendons. And I had to learn to, post-surgery, the surgeon was like, you won't be able to run mileage. You'll have to be a short distance runner unless you sort out your form. I had to literally relearn how to, because to me, natural running was loping, high impact, like bounding. And they got me on a treadmill and increased cadence. And it was hard because I wasn't run fit. Like my cadence had been so like slow. I had like strong muscles, but I couldn't hold that high cadence. And it was frustrating, but it's totally possible. And that was after 18 years of running.
Okay. So it's possible to learn a new form.
Totally possible.
Great to know that. A beginner runner starting out, what's a good distance to start out?
Yeah, I think targeting something like a park run. I think a nice 5K is like a good kind of goal and base. Depending on how active and sporty you are and how it feels to run, I would say maybe starting off in time. So like 10-minute jog in the morning, then maybe leave it a few days, 15 minutes jog. And if you are finding that hard, building up time by progressing by 5 minutes, you can always break it down. Okay, next time I'm going to do 10-minute run, a 5-minute walk, a 5-minute run. Just whatever can keep a form good for that long. And also your heart rate level. You don't want to get those massive spikes where you're finishing on like 180 and it's your steady running.
That sounds like me. Walking and running.
Yeah.
Is it a good thing?
Yeah. So I think the Americans actually have a phrase for it now. I think they call it jeffing.
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 I love that, jeffing.
Yeah, because it's been I don't know what the study was, but they took people who it was in a marathon. I don't even know, it could have been London Marathon, but they took the time of people that just jogged at their one pace and kept it going the whole way. And then these guys that did jeffing, I think it was maybe a 5-minute run, 1-minute walk or something like that, but they to keep their heart rate right down. And because they could run a lot faster with the interval kind of in the middle, they actually ended up being faster. So and I saw a lot of people doing that on the comrades. Like the minute they get to a hill, that actually, if their heart rate went too high, just walking that kind of that brow, and it was enough to just then really roll into a good pace again. And so it definitely does work.
Yeah, I did a lot of jeffing at Comrades. Especially when I got to you at 70 Ks. I was jeffing. I wasn't walking, I was jeffing.
You were chatting.
Yeah.
Having a great time.
This episode is sponsored by Just Pure Health, South Africa's go-to premium plant-based superfood blends. Whether it's recovery or daily wellness, they've got your health covered naturally. Visit justpurehealth.co.za. So you raced Ibiza.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going. You were racing, then your menstrual cycle started. You were wearing a light suit. A photo was taken. The photo went viral. But you owned it like a champion. How did that change things for you?
Yeah, I think, again, I think it's something that is so close to my heart, and I don't think it's something you really talk about unless it comes up. Like if a young girl was to speak to me, or if I would hear about a young girl that was struggling, then I'd go to them one-to-one and kind of talk about my experience, because it's something that really affected kind of growing up for me. Because I did have eating issues. I did lose my period. I did have a very unhealthy body, and it took a lot of time to get back to kind of a healthy body. And I actually, I run faster being 5 kilograms heavier. And to me, that was always like a really strong message to get across, but I never wanted to like preach to people. It would be someone coming to me to say, listen, I heard from this person that you had this problem. I'm going through the same thing. And it would be very much a one-to-one. So, when the photo came out, and, to begin with, so I didn't put up the photo. I saw that one of my photos, because they send you a load of photos after the race.
Okay.
And I didn't use that one because, obviously I saw, but I didn't really think anyone else would notice it. And then when PTO had put it up and someone had said like, that is not flattering, like you should take it down. And I just thought that was like totally the wrong message that you want to send to young girls out there, that it's like shameful or embarrassing, because I am super proud that I went through that journey and that I now have a healthy body. And if you told me as a young girl that on the hardest day of my menstrual cycle, I could have one of my best races, I'd be like, no ways. Like,
that was my next question.
Yeah.
How was the race for you?
And it is tough. Like, I think each person has differences. Like, menstrual cycles are so individual. And for me, the first really heavy day of bleeding, like my body, it feels so many, like my quads feel heavy. I feel puffy. I hold a lot of water, but I feel dehydrated and I overheat. So it's we kind of, my coach would train me on a normal kind of training plan, so that I have to, if a key session falls on those days, I still do it. And I've learned kind of then coping mechanisms throughout, just, keeping cooler, knowing how I feel and shaking my legs a bit more, pacing it better. And I think all those things have really helped for when it's happened on race day. I had a really good race. Like, I came fourth. It was probably the most stacked female race that PTO had put on to that date, because they only had the European, I think they had 3 races that year. So everyone was going to them. And it felt like I'd come fourth in the world, and I was really, really proud.
Amazing.
So for me, actually, that photo was so much more than, it's called an embarrassing moment. For me, that was like, wow, on that was a really tough day for me. And I'm so proud of and it's possible, and telling people it's possible, and mishaps happen, and perhaps someone will see, but own it and talk about it, and seize that moment to actually kind of encourage young girls.
Your exact words, it's beautiful.
Beautiful.
I love that. Oh, and I read it this morning where you wrote it's beautiful under the photo.
Yeah.
So young girls who want to get into endurance events, and please, it's coming from a male. My logic tells me no tampon will last for these long races. How do you plan if you know your menstrual cycle is going to fall on a race day? How do you plan for those type of things?
Yeah, I think test it in training. I think have longer, harder sessions. Try not to shy away from them, and no, you can still note and you can still tell your coach like this is a hard menstrual kind of cycle day for me, but working out coping mechanisms, because you need to be able to go into a race knowing, okay, these are my proactive things that I'm going to do that are going to make me feel more comfortable. Yeah, for me it was like light clothing. Being less aero, but because not being in a suit, but actually being cooler. And yeah, test things out and talk to people. So for me, I thought menstrual cups did not work for me. And then, yeah, having had all of this kind of out there and the number of people that recommended different brands, and I tried, and yeah, it's the same thing. You actually, there'll be something out there that does work for you, and it's getting recommendations and talking to people about, oh, how do you use it? How do you, and there's so many good kind of, yeah, female role models out there. And I think as well, I can't remember, there was a study from Paris Olympics of the number of Olympic gold medalists that menstruate, like the female athletes, and the majority of especially females that had been 5 years or more at the top of their career all had healthy menstrual cycles. And so seeing actually it's a good thing, it's a not wishing it away, not wishing, oh, I wish I didn't have a good menstruation cycle. Actually, it is a performance benefit, and seeing it as that, embracing it, and just learning to manage those tougher days.
Well, it proves that you're healthy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I don't think us men understand what you actually go through, okay, as a woman, when it is the time of the month. Tell us a bit about the physical effects. As an athlete, so us men can understand. We sit there and go, oh, it's the time of the month, she's in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Listen, I will say it now to you, it's wrong. Okay, it's more than that. But we got to talk about it for other men and myself to understand it.
Yeah. And I do think sometimes it's just not a conversation that's had. It's just be like, and as women also, we'll shut it down. We'll be like, I don't want to talk about it. Like it's my time of the month, leave me alone type thing. Whereas actually, yeah, sometimes like you guys aren't going to know unless we say like, oh, like it's the time of the month. And I think no one ever wants to feel like they're making excuses or they're being moany or whiny, but just explaining like, oh, okay, at this day, like I feel a bit hotter, like my temperature is a bit higher. I'm a little bit more agitated, like irritable. And also just things, even talking to your coach, because you can identify things, and they may coach another female athlete that has the exact same problem, and she's found something that works. And if not, then it's kind of an education process for you both. So yeah, things like often you won't drink as much because you hold on to a bit more water. So you feel a bit more puffy and a bit more swollen, but actually you're dehydrated. So that's a big one. Yeah, feeling more hungry. That can also be, and then again, you can be like, oh, I'm being so greedy today. Like, what is up with me? And yeah, just if you talk about these things, then someone, again, it's that second voice, just telling you, oh, you're just on your period, your body's working a bit harder, you're a bit more hungry, give it the calories it needs, and even as females talking to one another, I think we could do better. We could do better at supporting each other through, just little tips and tricks, and hopefully having the open conversations gets more of it out there. And I do think it's very female thing of, you never want to be seen as making an excuse. So a lot of females won't talk about it after a race. They won't say, oh yeah, it was tough for me today because I was on my period, but I did this and like, I'm so proud of my result. Because you don't want to be disrespectful to your other competitors and be like, oh, I wasn't at my best or anything. Whereas I think there's a healthy way that we could have these conversations.
The platform of the photo coming out, etc. Obviously, there were a lot of messages Were there ever messages of you've allowed us to open up and talk?
Yeah, there was like a really big mix of messages. There was like, a lot of support and a lot of, questions and people kind of wanting to find out more about how you deal with your period when you're racing hard and racing for a long time. And then there were also the negative ones that said like, what, this is disgusting. You shouldn't be putting it out there. And they were some of the best conversations that came out of it because I was interested. Like, why do you feel like that?
So you didn't just shut it down?
Yeah. I'm interested, especially if they direct message, like if it wasn't just an attention trolling thing, like they direct message me, then I was really interested in the mindset of like what bit they found disgusting and why. And I was like, actually, you're opening up the conversation and a good conversation like came out of it because it was something they would never, ever normally talk about. And there we were having a conversation about why they felt that way and actually what it would mean for someone else. And so, yeah, they ended up being a lot of like the most positive ones from people who would normally, totally shut down that conversation. And actually, it's really important to have because that's what makes you a female athlete.
What's the one message you hope a young athlete or girl took from that whole experience that you had?
Yeah, I hope that just from the statistics and seeing the amount of young girls that drop out when they hit puberty out of sport and miss PE sessions once a month or twice a month, I would hope that actually, they start to have this conversation and it keeps people in the sport in puberty because I think, that drop off is definitely no coincidence and it's definitely not spoken about as much. And I think it's an area, if they were really well supported and educated in, that actually, people could do sport whilst having their period, especially at that young age when it first kicks in.
What would you say to someone, a young lady, older athlete that still feels it's embarrassing to talk about?
Yeah, I think definitely, you don't have to put it out there. You don't have to talk to strangers about it. But as long as there are one or two people that you feel comfortable about, because again, a lot of people have really painful, heavy periods, and they don't realize because they don't talk about it. They don't realize that's not a normal thing, and there's a lot you can do if you talk to people and even if it's talking with a doctor. I think just make sure that there's somewhere and someone you feel comfortable and safe to have that conversation because, it's a really healthy thing to do.
I want to talk a little bit about Peak. How was Peak Running Club born? So Peak is a multisport club. How was that born?
Yeah, I think so. I came into it a little bit later. It was Jared's baby. He was a young athlete in South Africa, and then went abroad to Boulder to be a full-time triathlete. And he just learned so much from the coaches over there compared to his training here. He just loved that data side that he was given, and he had some great mentors that taught him over kind of training plans and how to be a good coach and how to build training plans and just really looking at science and data. He's a person's people. He loves people. He loves interacting with them, talking with people. So he already had that side. And then to have like the knowledge of actually the science behind that, he brought it back to him to South Africa and started off with a couple of athletes. And then, I think it's just kind of grown over time. When I came over, I then had some athletes that I was coaching that, we brought into the team. And, we kind of like to think of it more as like a bit of a family, that it's a community that, you don't have to be coached, that even if it's just you're part of the community and you wear the vest and you ask us when you need advice on stuff. And we just want to go to races and make it a vibe. And because a lot of people train so hard and then they go to the race alone and they can do so well, and then they travel home alone, and yeah, you can get so much more out of. We want these races to be like the party at the end. Like you've done all this hard work, and then you're a happy, fast athlete on the day, and yeah, you have people to celebrate with after.
Yeah, so I was a bit of a club slut. I've jumped clubs, and nothing wrong with the clubs that I've jumped from: Pirates, Run Zone, 32 GI, and then my last one being 32 GI. I was training with Mark Wolf, and I decided I need something new. And my personality, I've got ADHD, so I need something new. And I decided I'm going to join Peak. Went online and joined Peak. Didn't meet you or Jared yet. Haven't met anyone. Didn't come to any of the club runs, the track days, or anything that you guys have. And my first race in the jersey was Pirates. The last 21K Pirates had, I think it's January, February, when the race happens. And it was raining. And I came around the first corner, and you and Jared was there. Jared was taking photos with his camera, and you guys were standing there, and the cheers I got. And you didn't know who I was, probably. You were like, who's this guy in a Peak jersey? Let's check, he's even a member. Maybe he's just got a jersey. And the cheers I got made me just feel part of something immediately. How important is that, being part of something to you guys, community? So every guest that I've had on the show, if it's an addict, if it's a sports person that are talking about mental health, advocates, etc., all of them go back to community. Have you seen that vibe with your athletes and your community?
Yeah, massively. And especially during COVID, we were really, I don't know, I think so many people really mentally struggled in COVID, and we realized actually how many people were looking for something. And so then doing online kind of just sessions to bring people together, quiz nights, then as soon as we could open up, putting on like fun little group sessions in the cradle, like mock races and stuff. I think that's where we realized actually how important it is from, like you say, from a mental health point of view. And just again, from that thing of being human, like it's human contact and it's human interaction. And we've seen so many like super shy people, first of all, coming to like a track session and yeah, just saying the odd kind of word and then getting comfortable around people and growing. And it's just that, yeah, things like that, that it's amazing to see. And friendships, like people's kind of bonds that, yeah, they're doing the same thing. Like they love the same thing. They're going to meet up for runs together, and that just friendship grows and grows, and they become your core supporters and you for them. I think just as much being a supporter as being supported. And I think that's actually one of the things I've most enjoyed about being pregnant is stopping traveling for a bit and actually being here, being present, and being able to give back a bit of support that, yeah, you're always so selfishly kind of getting when you're kind of an athlete yourself. And yeah, I didn't feel like I was giving back as much as I was getting. And yeah, the team is just, yeah, that's our passion.
I'll tell you what you did for me at 70 odd Ks at Comrades. Just walking, the little chat we had walking next to me really went a long way, because I was in a bad place. I even said to my wife, if I see you now, I'm pulling out. Make sure I don't see you until the finish line.
Don't feel that. And vice versa, for us standing there and seeing all these, these people like toughing it out and keeping on going, like that's the inspiring of you're like, I want to do that one day. It's that total, it was amazing. I love that.
I want to talk a little about Peak Development. And I don't know much about them, but I've heard they're doing amazing work out there. Tell us a little about those athletes.
Yeah, so it started off when I was a runner. I was training in Kenya. And we were at Lorna Kiplagat's kind of warm weather training facility. And we went and did a bit of work in the community. And yeah, we went to a school and we met kind of the up and coming, like they idolized, like running was, everyone wanted to be a runner. And I thought that's so cool. This little town in a 10. And everyone, like their role models are like way more important than kids who support Ronaldo, or I don't know, it was everything to them. And when I saw the national cross country, and again, thousands of kids, and you could see how they bred champions, and so many of them just, wanted to just get a work hard, run hard, become good runners, and get some prize money and bring it back to their family. And when I came over here, we also did some kind of donations and things into the community. And I was like, this could work. Like all the kids were playing football and they were active, but they were just playing. There was no like group sessions. There was no coach. And I said the same thing could work just as well. Like same, they live here at altitude. Like there could be some real talent in there. So it started off, well, what do you need to take these kids to run races? And it started off with a shoe drive because we wanted them to have shoes to run in. And then we'd go weekly and do a coaching session. Then it got a little bit out of hand because we went from like 20, like 15, 16-year-olds to like 120, like from 3 years old to like everyone just came to the football field. And I was doing like, kids games whilst Jared was doing the older ones, proper running. So we're like, okay, we'll put on a race. And then from this, the kids that have trained well and that do well in this race, we'll start taking them to races. And that's how it's come about. The ones that are consistently training, we've got them a license, we've got them a vest. Awesome. They have their shoes, they go to the races. And one of them, Jerry, he has won he's won the 10K Vitalities, every single race he's done. And he's so happy. He gets his paycheck and he goes back and he tells all the other guys. And then they work harder and they train with him. So the idea being now that someone like Jerry, we can grow into a coach, and then it will be developed. So
and he can spread the love in Kenya.
Yeah, and it becomes like a group rather than like we're driving it. It comes from, and it's sustained by like we can give him a job, and that it becomes like a running community that then like again organically grows, and we'll see.
That is amazing, and I think we've like us, and I'm going to say privileged people, forget, what we've actually got when we wake up every morning. We can put on running shoes. We can buy the 4,000 Rand pair of running shoes or the 3,000 Rand pair of running shoes, where the guys in Kenya can't.
Yeah.
So you guys are doing great work, man.
Yeah, and I think that was also an eye-opener to me because when I first went there, and we sponsored like a young family, and I came away, and it's literally probably 10K away from where we live, and to come from where we live to see what they were living. And I said to Jared, just how are we going to go home to our home and live the way we do? And he was like, but look at them. Like we talked to them. We saw the kids playing like in the street. They're happy.
They're happier than us.
Actually,
Simple life.
and I was like, that's so true. Like it is so true. Everyone has their niche, and if you can sustain and support what they already have going, like it's good.
One last question. What is next? I know you can't say Baby Brown. I know Baby Brown is next. After everything, I know you said London Marathon. Are we going to go and smash some records at the marathons? What are we looking at doing at these things?
I think like the British qualifying time for LA, that's definitely on my mind. So
what is that time?
They haven't announced it yet, so they keep changing they're moving the barriers as everyone's getting quicker and quicker. I'd suspect you'd have to run at least like a 2:26.
On that, why do you think everyone's getting quicker and quicker? Is it the training? Is it the gear / shoes?
I think the shoes at the moment have like are really hiking the times a little bit, but then.
And your feeling on that? You think it's cheating?
I do think there has to be a limit. I think there has to be like I heard about Nike now doing these army shoes where they have the motors in that will help change your biomechanics and stimulate the right muscles to push off and stuff. Like I do think there has to be a limit to how much assistance you can have. For example, like you can't race on an electric bike. I think the same thing. You can't have these motorized shoes. But they're making people quicker. If they're going to make people less injured running, then cool. But yeah, I do definitely think there has to be rules and regulations. And I'd also like to see like people not getting outpriced. I think the beauty of running is like it's that accessible sport for everyone. Like I always used to say, you literally need a pair of trainers. And then now if these trainers are going to be like 500 pounds, like it becomes a bit harder.
Stop barefoot running.
Yeah.
Get your feet used to the tar.
Yeah.
Emma, thank you for today. Thank you for being honest and raw and real.
Thank you so much.
You're an amazing athlete, an amazing voice for women. Please keep that up. Please keep talking and doing what you're doing. We're going to be cheering for baby Brown.
Oh, thanks.
And whatever is next after that. And I'm sure we're going to have around 2 of this because just the talk on the shoes is a whole podcast on its own. Sure. But after London Marathon, when you smash those records and smash those times, I think we should have you back when everything's settled. All the best for baby Brown. You and Jared have got this. It all just falls in place, I promise you. Motherhood, fatherhood, once baby comes, it all just falls in place.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you.